morning students, welcome here. We are going to start unit number 9. Actually this unit has two parts, means the great stone phase 1 and the great stone phase 2. Very appealing or gripping story it is. You would love this story. The story is about a mountain and a relation of that mountain with a small child like you all, and how that mountain looked like a child. That the story is about that. So please keep a textbook with you. Let's start that story. This part 1, the great stone phase part 1 is divided into two parts. So here we have two parts in this. Before we go for this actual unit, here we have before you read session. Page number 120. Seen from a distance, hilltops and huge rocks seem to assume various shapes. So if we stand on a distance, or if we stand on a hilltop or in a huge rock, then everything looks different. They may resemble an animal or a human figure. People attribute stories to this shape. So the shapes of those objects look different when we stand at high place, and people are used to make stories on this object. Some stories come true, others don't. All the stories are not a real story. The great stone face is one such shape that reminds the inhabitants of Valley of Prophecy. What was it? Did it come true? So here we have the story of great stone face, and this story reminds us in the inhabitants of the Valley of Prophecy. So here is a question for us. Means what was it? Did it come true or not? That will be disclosed in this story. One afternoon when the sun was going down, a mother and her little boy sat at the door of their cottage, talking about the great stone face. Great stone face is a name of one mountain. So basically this story revolves around mountain. So one afternoon when the sun was going down, a mother and her little boy both were sitting at the door of their cottage, and they were talking about the great stone face. They had only to lift their eyes and there it was. It means that mountain was not far from their cottage. They just have to lift their eyes and that mountain was before them. Plain to be seen, though miles away, with the sunshine brightening all its features. That mountain was so plain, so simple. And though miles away, with the sunshine brightening all its features. With the help of sunshine, all the features of that great stone face or that mountain were shining. And what was the great stone face? The great stone face was a work of nature formed on the perpendicular side of mountain by some immense rock which had been thrown together so that when viewed at a proper distance, they resembled the features of a human face. So the name of the unit is Great Stone Face. It is very appealing name. We can say it is very amazing or different name. So what actually this great stone face was? Let me write here. So here the definition is given. Let me write the definition. It is a work of nature. It was a work of nature, formed on the perpendicular side of mountain by some immense rock. I'll just make easy this definition for you. It was formed by the side of mountain, and it was formed with the rock. Which had been thrown together, and this rock which had been arranged together. Next, let's see. They resembled the feature of human face. When viewed at proper distance, they resembled features of the human face. This is known as the great stone face. These are the four qualities of that great stone face. It was a work of nature, means naturally it was made. No person or any people made that. So it was a work of nature. It was formed by the side of mountain. It was formed with the rocks which had been arranged together. So there were many rocks which were arranged together, and it looked like a face of a human being when it was seen from far or seen from distance. So this is our great stone face. Please you note down this. So now you have got idea about this great stone face. So here we got some new words. The great stone face was a work of nature formed on the perpendicular side. Perpendicular, that is the new word for us. It means cliff or a rock face rising very steeply. Now what is this steeply? So I am writing here, it means sharply, acutely. So by some immense rock, immense means huge. So it is a cliff or a rock which is arranged or rising from immense rock which had been thrown together so that when viewed at the proper distance they resembled the features of human face. If the spectator means it means viewer, watcher. Means audience, you can say. Approached too near, he lost the outline of enormous face and could see only a heap of gigantic rocks. So it looks like a human face from distance. But if a spectator or a watcher just approached too near, approach means reach, we can say, or go. Reached, came. It came too near, he lost the outline of the enormous face and could see only the heap of gigantic rocks. Enormous means very big. And gigantic, it means immense, very huge. So when we just come near to that mountain, we lost the outline and it looks like a simple mountain piled upon one another, but seen from a distance, but that distant view is different. If we see that mountain from a distance, it looks like a great face of human being. The clouds of clustering about it, the great stone face seemed positive to be alive. From the distance, it seems to be positive. I mean, it seems that the face of the man is there. Clustering means gathering. Number 8. Clustering about it, the great face seemed positively to be alive. It was the belief of many people that the valley owed much of its fertility to the benign face that was continuously beaming over it. Benign means kind and gentle. Means people believed that it was that fertility of that mountain because of its mountain's kindness, or that face, that valley had its own fertility and valley has the prosperousness of its own. Okay, this is the first paragraph of the page number 121. Please you note down this new word. After that we will go for second paragraph. Now, a mother and her little boy, as we said earlier, sat at the door of their cottage gazing at the great stone face and talking about it. The child's name was Ernest. So the name of that child was Ernest, and mother was telling a story to that Ernest. Mother, said he, while the great face smiled on him, I wish that it could speak, for it looked so very kindly that its voice must indeed be pleasant. That boy was fascinated with that face of the mountain. So he told his mother that he would like to listen the voice of that great stone, because he added that the face or smile of that great stone was so pleasant. So he was sure that the voice of the great stone indeed be pleasant. If I ever see a man with such a face, I should love him very much. So if I see a man with such a smiling face, just as that great stone, that boy told that he would surely love that man. If an old prophecy should come to pass, answered his mother, we may see a man sometime with exactly such a face as that. So his mother replied that she replied that if that old prophecy means statement that tells what will happen in future. Statement that tells what will happen in the future. So there was a prophecy, there was a future statement regarding that great stone. So mother told that if that prophecy comes to be true, then you would surely meet that person who has resemblance of this great stone. What prophecy do you mean, dear mother? Ernest eagerly inquired. The name of the boy was Ernest, so he inquired eagerly that which kind of prophecy she was talking about. Please tell me about it. And he wanted to know the prophecy of that great stone. So his mother told him a story that her own mother had told her when she herself was younger than little Ernest, that at some future day a child should be born near here. So that Ernest's mother was going to tell a story. The story she was told by her mother. So that story she was going to tell to Ernest, that at some future day a child should be born near here who was destined to become the greatest and noblest person of his time, and whose face in manhood should bear an exact resemblance to the great stone face. So there was a prophecy that in this area the child should be born, and that child should be born here. So that was the prophecy. Let me write here. So that prophecy was about a child should be born. What are the quality of that child? So that child destined to become great, to be a great man. Another thing is it should bear an exact resemble, and that should look like a great stone. So this prophecy her mother was telling to that child. here we got one word, that is destine. And it means predetermined, or we can say dedicate in advance. Another word we got here is resemblance. Resemblance. It means parallel, or we can say similarity. So it was a story that one child should be born here, and that child destined to be a great man, and that child should look like a great stone. That story was there. Many still had faith in this old prophecy, but others took it to be nothing but idle talk. At all event, the great man of the prophecy had not yet appeared. So many people believed in this prophecy, but some people were there who didn't believe in this prophecy. But the mother added that great man of prophecy had not yet appeared. Means that kind of man still was not there in that area. "Oh mother," cried Ernest, clapping his hands above his head, "I do hope that I shall live to see him." That boy was so eager, or so boy was so enthralled in the story, that he told that he would love to see that man who resembled like great stone. His mother was an affectionate and thoughtful woman. It was proper, she thought, not to discourage the fanciful hopes of her little boy. So she said to him, "Perhaps you may." The mother was so matured and she was so thoughtful. So she didn't want to feel discouragement to that boy, and she didn't want to discourage that boy. So she just replied positively of the question of that boy. Here we got one word, that is affectionate. It means loving, and another word we got is thoughtful. It means kind and attentive. So the mother replied that perhaps that boy may live a long life, that he could see that person who has resemblance of that great stone. Okay, please you note down this. After that we'll go further. And Ernest never forgot the story that his mother told him. It was always in his mind whenever he looked upon the great stone face. So after so many times of that story, Ernest didn't forget that story, and the story was there in his mind. He spent his childhood in the log cottage where he was born, was dutiful to his mother and helpful to her in many things, assisting her much and his little hands and more with his loving heart. And he was living there, and he spent his childhood in the log cottage where he was born. He was very helpful to his mother. He was helping his mother by heart. In this manner, from a happy yet often pensive child, he grew up to be a mild and quiet youth. Pensive means thoughtful. Here we have day after day that child was growing, and now he became a young man. Ernest had no teacher, but the great stone face became one to him. Ernest boy didn't have any teacher, but he just believed that great stone was a teacher for him. When his work of the day was over, he would gaze at it for hours until he began to imagine that those vast features recognized him and gave him a smile of kindness and encouragement. So now he became a young man. So after his working hours, he just sat beside the threshold of his door and he just stared to that mountain, and he just stared or gazed at it for hours until he began to imagine that those vast features recognized him. So now the connection between Ernest and that great stone was so tight, was so strong, that Ernest started imagine that great stone has to resemble him. So that kind of attachment Ernest had with that mountain, and he gave him a smile of kindness and encouragement. So now it was in Ernest's mind that he started believing that great stone that mountain would surely give him a smile and would surely give him encouragement. That Ernest was getting pleasant nature and happiness and encouragement from that great stone face. So for Ernest, that stone was a living one, not a mountain. About this time, there went a rumor throughout the valley that the great man who was to bear a resemblance to the great stone face had appeared at last. So now, after many years, there was a rumor that man who has resemblance of great stone, that prophecy man, appeared last time. It seems that many years before, a young man had left the valley and settled at a distant seaport. So it was a story, or it was a rumor among that villagers that one man left the city, and that man left the city many years ago and settled at a distant seaport. And the name of that man was Gathergold, which was his name, had set up as a shopkeeper, and being sharp in business matter, had become so very rich that it would have taken him 100 years only to count his wealth. In time, he thought of his native valley and decided to go back there, and his days where he had been born. So it was a rumor there that one man was born here and he settled at the distant place of seaport. Now that man, his name was Gathergold, he was so rich, he was a sharp-minded businessman, that he became so rich, and he was that much rich that it would taken him 100 years to count his property, to count his money. So it is believed that man has a similar face of great stone. And it was a rumor that man was coming to this native place, coming to the place where this great stone face was located. So finally the boy was very excited to see that man, and people just spread this rumor all over the village. So let's see that if that man had looked like a great stone face or not. Before that, you please note down this. Okay students, so this is for today's video. Now it's time to give you homework. Your homework is, you have to write these 15 new words in your homework. The secret of that resemblance of two personality will be disclosed in next video. Still we have another part and another unit of this great stone face. Okay, please be attached and take care of yourself. Bye.